And it's just 4:01, so
Doing
it's
well.
not that bad. All right, so we will call this meeting to order of the DEI committee at 4:01 PM. We will start with a roll call. Tammy.
Here.
Thank you. Jenny's absent. Travis.
Here.
Thank you. Valerie is not. Michael is also not here yet. And Tiffany. Here. All right, meeting minutes were included in your packets that you received via email. Was there any discussion to be had or corrections about the meeting minutes? And if not, if somebody would like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll approve or motion to approve the minutes.
All right, motion on the floor is to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tammy. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the last meeting, please say aye. Aye.
I.
And I believe Travis
Yeah.
also, since he motioned. So,
Yes, I did.
yes, okay,
Absolutely.
so motion passes, minutes are approved. Thank you. All right. Committee business. The first item to discuss is the applicants for the next term, which starts in March,
April.
April.
Yeah, it'll be the first meeting in April. will be the
Spring,
next term.
They start in
Yes.
spring.
Yes.
Included in your packets were the application materials for 3 committee members, which is the exact number of openings that we will have. Tammy, happy to see you back in the pool. And if there's any discussion to be had about the applicants, now is the time to do so.
So both Andrea and Denise are attending online. And
great.
if you want to give them a chance to speak, I can promote them to talk.
Yes, I wish I could see their names from this far away. Yeah, go ahead and just promote both of them. Andrea and Denise, thank you so much for joining us and for nominating yourself, applying for the vacancies on the committee. That's a fantastic thing to do. We'll give you both an opportunity just to, and Tammy, we'll also give you an opportunity to talk about why you want to stay on the committee, but just to talk about your interest in serving on the DEI committee. Denise, I see you're unmuted. Why don't you go first?
Oh, I'm glad you can see me because that was going to be my first question. So you said, like, why do I want to be on the committee?
Yes.
Well, I see that Estacada, all of us, I've been here since 2003, and it just seems like in the last, I don't know, I want to say 10 years, it's slowly started. And now all of a sudden, I don't know if this is just my perception or not, but there seems to be like a boom of building and residential stuff and people moving out here. So I see the city is about to start just growing a lot more. And I'd like to get in on the bottom, the ground floor effort of that to try to just become more involved in my community. I've been here 20 years and there's people that I just don't know that I've lived next to for 20 years. And I'm just trying to get more involved and seeing if I can help and serve the community and just step up.
Great. Thank you. And we can't see you if that's what you were wondering. We can see your name, but we
I'm trying-
can't.
Let me see if I can fix that. There is a camera icon. I pressed
Okay.
allow for everything because it was like allow.
You're
Let's
not
see.
required to show
Oh,
us your face. I don't think so.
No.
No, I don't mind. I mean, as soon as I can, I'm going to be coming in there, but no, all it does is let me, come on now. Huh. Well,
It's okay.
I'll figure it out later. I just assumed it would because I use Zoom all the time. I just had an interview last week on Zoom, so I don't know why it's not working, but I'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing with us. Andrea.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. Thank you.
Very good. Same question as Denise?
Yes, just share why you're interested in serving on the committee.
Well, it is still the same as Denise. I would really like to be more involved with the community, seeing as I work in it and kind of hear different things all over the place. I would just like to kind of insert myself more to maybe show that we are not a bad community and to bring us all together, really, because since I've moved here, I moved here 7 years ago. We bought our house, I think, and the first year was great, and then probably around the second year it didn't feel nice anymore to me, and there was a lot of divide that was really apparent. So I want to bring that back together for us, because I think we have a beautiful community when we want to be.
Yep. Great. Thank you. And then Tammy, if you just want to share why you're interested in continuing in the committee.
Sure. So I just feel like, I think my term started, am I right, in October, something like that? Maybe it was November, but I don't feel like I've been on the committee long enough to make a contribution much yet. So, and I know we have a lot of plans kind of moving forward, so I'm looking forward to being a part of that, and just wanted to give more time to be able to do more for our city and get to know the new committee members.
Great. Jerry is our liaison, or Heidi is our future liaison, or Tiffany. Does anybody, Travis, anybody have any additional questions for these three?
I don't have any questions. I know Andrea a little bit. I know Denise a little bit, and I'm very confident in them serving on this committee and, helping towards the goals of the city of Estacada and the DEI committee.
Great.
Thank
I would
All
just
right.
ask what if they could elaborate a little bit more on what they bring to the committee.
Okay, great question. We can just go in the same order to make it easy. Denise, if you want to address that first.
I'm sorry, we had a break in the communication. I did not hear the question.
All right, Travis asked if you could elaborate on what you would bring to the committee.
What I would bring to the committee. Well, I see that the committee, the largest percentage of what it's going to be doing is engaging directly with the population of the city, the residents. And I do that all the time. In my job, I work managing people. I'm a lead. I go bring teams of people to businesses, and I have to interact with the client. I have to, if I have team leaders who have an altercation, I need to know how to de-escalate that. I need to know how to be able to pull someone apart over and say, this and that is inappropriate, please stop doing it. Also to praise people, like, today after I'm done with you guys, I have to do reports on what I did at work. I'm going to write a report on a new guy because he did an exceptional job. And then I'm going to call him and tell him I did that. And it's just all about learning. I've been doing it a while, and I've learned how to approach people in certain ways regarding where they are in the context of the situation. So I think that would be my strongest point of what I bring.
And-
I've dealt with a lot of different cultures. My degree is in anthropology. I've traveled the world. So I also would bring an understanding that maybe this person is from a totally different culture, is another planet. You know, maybe we need to approach it that way. Just those different viewpoints.
And I think if I saw that correctly in your application, that you also are bilingual in Spanish.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an important thing to bring up for the DEI committee.
Oh, I forget it because everyone I speak to is English, and it's not until I'm speaking to a Spanish person who can't speak English that it all just comes back. But when I'm around a bunch of people and they're all speaking English, I totally forget that it's a hidden limb.
Yes, está bien. All right, Andrea.
Goodness, I don't do well on the spot, but oh my goodness.
This is like the last on the
shy.
spot you'll probably have, so.
Yay. I'm shy, you know, until I get there, but that's okay. So I have pretty much always worked in every community that I have lived in. Not worked, but I'm sorry, volunteered and been involved. And it's usually been with like youth services. Like I'm involved with the Ant Farm here, and I'm teaching classes to the youth on crocheting. But I really do like to just jump in and volunteer anytime that I can. My kids and I have always volunteered at animal shelters, and sometimes I accidentally bring them home and get in trouble. You know, I don't know. I've just always needed to stay busy, and I really, really, really like to help people. I really like to gather people's stories. I love our elderly community because they have so many cool stories. And then for me, it's kind of important. I am very hard of hearing, and I'm eventually will be completely deaf in a matter of years, in fact. And so I'm really liking our deaf culture that we have here. And I have met people just like randomly, and I see them speaking sign. And so I have hit up some cool relationships with people who have things in common with me. And that kind of goes back to me being a little bit shy because I don't always hear everything properly. And so I do smile when maybe it might not be appropriate, but my intentions are so good. But yes, just bringing everybody together. I'm in it. Throw me anywhere and I will smile and have such a good time with everybody.
Thank you. Tammy, I don't know do we need to make Tammy answer this question? I feel like Tammy, you've already, we already know what you're bringing to the committee. There's a lot of really great connections and overlaps here already that I'm seeing. So, any more discussion, or Elena, where do we?
So because there are 3 applicants and 3 positions, you don't need to make a formal recommendation. If you would like to, you can, but it's not necessary.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, would the city council, would it feel stronger if we?
Generally, if
Yes.
there's 3 applicants and 3 positions,
Okay.
it goes in their consent agenda. They don't
Okay.
even they don't even have a separate vote on it.
Great.
We do look at it, but we
Yeah,
don't.
Right.
Yeah.
we-
Great. Okay. Well, Denise and Andrea, thank you so much. Tammy, we're not letting you leave. I think you are free to continue as a general citizen watching the meeting if you'd like to. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to working with you, as I think that's the direction we're heading.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I love seeing new people that haven't been involved in city government apply.
Are you talking in your mic?
I love seeing new people that haven't been involved in city government apply for positions. I think it's amazing having that. People get involved, so.
New perspectives. I love it. It's like the ripple effect. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is the annual plan discussion, which the annual plan was included in the packet and it's also in front of us right here.
So you asked one question last time and I looked it up about how much the city has spent on translation and interpretation. And we haven't had a specific budgeted item for that, so it's kind of hard, but just based on our general thoughts, it's about $200 at the most
For the year?
for the year. Yep,
Okay,
not much.
no. Do you know roughly what that?
That was basically for 2 separate instances. So
Okay, and is that broken down by what the rates are? Do we know to have documents translated versus having translators at events?
see, we have some bilingual staff. And so we haven't had documents translated professionally before. So that was having translators at events and interpreter at event when we were talking with Growlers about the Main Street work. So
Okay. I'd love to hear what you all think, but I'm really in favor of somehow proposing that the city council have, or, that this budget becomes a part of the city's budget that all committees have access to.
when I discussed it with Sadie, she said that if they needed it, if they wanted it, we'd make it happen. So it's not specifically a budgeted expense, but that we would find the funds to cover that.
That doesn't make much of a statement as far as the commitment of the city towards having those resources available. It's good to know.
Yeah.
So because I don't know if do you still think we should be requesting our own budget, or it's just going to be funds that are available from some magic pocket that anybody can request?
So there's two options. One, are you going to request your own budget for projects you're doing? So if you're going to be having projects, let's say you're having community meetings, maybe you want to serve coffee and donuts. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to want to create a budget for. As for the translation and interpretation, you can send that to city council or the budget committee saying, we would like to see this as a line item in the budget because it makes a statement about our commitment to diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing you saying, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes. All right. Committee members, what are your thoughts?
I think personally that we need to make this don't you think it should be a line item?
I do. If there's anybody that feels otherwise, feel free to speak.
I just was gonna say, I think that is kind of the whole, not the whole, but like a major point of what we are about, right? Is commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yep. Okay, so how would we go about, we would just send an email from our committee email address requesting that a line item.
The translation services be a budgeted line item.
I would prefer it if you made a motion so that it came from the whole committee. That way everybody is in agreement. It's been voted on, it's on record. And then you can send an email. That's fine.
Okay. I can make the motion, right? I'm allowed to do that. Yeah. Okay. So I will make a motion that we request that a line item is included in the city budget dedicated to translation services.
Second the motion.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, so, who do I send the email to? Did you say to Sadie?
I'd send it, yeah, I'd send it to Sadie,
Okay,
Sadie Main. She's our finance director. Mhm.
and that doesn't need to include the amount that no, just that there is a line item dedicated to it. Okay. Great. Second part of this conversation is budget. If there is budget that we would like to request. It's always so hard when you're starting from zero.
So I'm looking at it, and especially the first part of your program is you have a lot of engagement. You're planning on doing a lot, either out in the community or having them come to us. And so, consider not a whole lot, but having a budget for things like, coffee and tea and donuts or bananas and fruit juice, depending on who you're engaging, because
Right.
people like snacks.
Yes, yes. Okay. Does anybody want to throw an amount out there? I don't even know where to start.
How many,
I mean, is it like saying we would say like $50 per event or,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what the
So
going
if you-
rates for like coffee, is that like getting it from one of the local coffee shops? Or is it having one of the hot pots and,
so if you were to ask for, say, $1,200, that's $100 a month. Depending on how much outreach and how much
Yeah.
engagement that you're going to have. So if you look at it that way. You don't have to use all the money, but that seems like a reasonable dollar amount, $100 a month for, snacks for outreach,
And you might consider, you had last year talked about partnering with some other of the committees, and maybe that'll be something you want to add to your work plan is like the Dia de los Muertos event that the library has, if you want to partner with that and maybe do a craft or something. So you'll have expenses that'll be involved in that too.
right? So for those of you who are newer, we had a couple of opportunities last year to partner. And some of their requests were to, if we could help do things other than just volunteer, and we didn't have a budget last year. So that wasn't something that we were in a position to do. So thank you for reminding me of that. Do any other committees have budgets?
They all do,
Oh, and
except for the planning. I don't think the planning commission has a budget, but Arts Commission, Parks and Rec Commission, and DEC all have a budget.
ballpark for each of them? Are they the same or
No, it
different?
varies greatly. Varies greatly. Like the DEC, I want to say asked for 12,000 last year. But they also expected to bring in, so that's the expenses. They also expected to bring in revenue from their events.
Yeah, same with Parks and Rec. They have a budget, yet they also do fundraising and stuff. And also the Arts Commission does. They raise funds also and via grants and donations for their summer celebration type events.
Okay. So, but do you know what their budgets are for either of those two?
It's a lot.
Arts or Parks and Rec? It's a lot. Like 5,000, more than that? Oh, okay.
They're doing larger
Yeah.
events. They're doing big events,
Right.
like the summer concert series. They're paying for all those bands. So
Right.
they have a lot more expenses than I would expect this committee to have.
Yes, yeah, because I don't want to put out a number that's just like, because they're asking for a lot, I would like to think practically about what we might use,
Mhm.
because I'm sure we would have to back up our request with, these are the items that we
You would request it in a way that you're telling, not necessarily items, like we're not going to say coffee and
Right,
stuff,
but
but we'll
for
say for
engagement.
engagement, refreshments. Yeah,
We don't have to give them the menu.
no,
Okay.
Erin,
Yeah.
there may be some months that we actually have more than one engagement, and there might be other months that we don't have any. But I think we should ask for more versus less, because then if we have money left over after, that's not a bad thing.
Is that how at the end of the year that there's a sweep and then it goes back into the city funds, like it rolls over type of thing, or what?
it doesn't like roll over into your next year's budget. You'll ask for a new budget next year.
But the city can recoup it. It's not
Yeah, the
like-
city
yeah.
keeps the funds. It'll be part of a general fund. Yeah.
Okay, so Jerry's proposal was the requesting 1,200 to start. Anticipating one event per month or using that as our template for starting this. How do y'all feel about that?
It's a good number to start with, I think.
Okay, all right, so should we do we need to vote on this?
What we'll do is I will write up a budget proposal for you. I'll bring it to your next meeting, but I would like, just consensus this time. You'll vote, you'll make a motion next meeting.
Okay, so it sounds like we have consensus.
Okay.
Right, Tiffany, you're, okay.
Great.
Okay, so then I think what everybody needs to do between now and then is be thinking creatively about if there are other things besides refreshments we would include in this proposal. And it might be, when we partner, that possibly we could provide some of the supplies for an event that we're partnering with another group on, or so wouldn't have to just be food. Banners, signs, who
Yep.
knows? I mean,
Yep.
that would eat up a lot of the 1,200.
Yeah.
And then it'll be good because then we'll know after a year, we'll have a budget to look at to see what did we spend our money on that will help jumpstart the discussion for the following year. Okay. Was there anything else to discuss on the annual plan?
So we are not in a huge hurry, but I want us to be thinking about, we set our goals and then what are the tasks going to be underneath each goal and what our timeline is going to be, what we're looking at when we want to complete these goals. So I'm sure some of these, like engage with community groups and churches, engage with students, are going to be kind of ongoing. But maybe we want to work on engaging with students before, the school year ends or starting in September. So just thinking about these tasks that are going to be underneath these and deadlines for them, so that when we come back next meeting, we can put something in all these little bullet points here. And if anybody has anything they want to add right now, they can.
So I'm sorry to jump in, but at our goal setting meeting that we had on Sunday, there was something that was brought up that was kind of started a few years ago, and then it kind of just got kicked to the curb. And I don't know if this is something that the DEIC would be interested in, but getting involved with the high school and starting a leadership council. And like I said, it's been Counselor Dunsmuir had actually got the conversation started a few years ago. And but it just never COVID happened and it kind of just never went anywhere. But I think that would be something that the DEIC would consider, like maybe looking over what you'd have to pull up what Counselor, find the information that Counselor Dunsmuir had, but it might be something that, a way to engage the students and also bring DEI into, more into the schools. And it might be something that you guys would want to get involved in or get started.
Yeah. Is that like a parallel to the city council, but made up of,
Students.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it was not a goal that was selected by the city council at our goal setting session, but it was something that everybody liked. It just wasn't high enough on our priority list to select as a council goal for the year, but everybody in attendance liked the idea, so.
yeah, I think engaging with students is already on our plan.
Mhm.
So I'd be really interested in seeing that proposal to see what that means for us and how, you know, we would support that. I think at a minimum, having a high school student involved on our committee or having some youth representation on our committee, that would be like the minimum
Mhm.
end of the spectrum, and then having a full-on youth council would be the other end of the spectrum.
There was another item that I know that you guys have talked about and that was on the council goals, which was to engage the unincorporated Estacada area. Because I know especially Tammy was mentioning reaching out to the, is it the Granges and the churches that are outside city limits, but still service our area?
Yeah. Well, and inquire, did anybody have a chance to inquire about whether or not there is a group that all of the churches are participating in for cross communication?
Yeah, I was gonna work on that. I reached out to one area clergyman and I haven't heard back yet.
Okay. Okay. So that was also was there any more information from the city council on that?
You know, we've had a lot of input from people who don't live inside city limits regarding especially transportation and the road conditions. So, you know, that I think that's what kind of spurred the comment. But I don't know that that's necessarily where they were looking to get more involvement. I think they just want to make sure that the greater unincorporated area feels like we're listening to them and that they have a voice.
I had actually suggested, I suggested creating an advisory board or something of members from outside the community, just to, allow them to, get their,
Have a voice.
have a voice in the community. Yeah, because they spend their money here. They live here, they spend their money here, they just don't pay city taxes.
Right. They're definitely impacted by the changes that are happening in the city.
Yeah.
That seems like a good group for one of the focus group listening session opportunities too.
Mhm.
And then do we know, is there city council or city work that is planned that will impact that last section on our goals, which is, different projects we would be participating in because they're already happening in the city and we'd be looking at the code or,
Mhm. Well, we're still working on the TSP update and that would be completed probably by the winter of this year, if I'm remembering the timeline correctly. And I believe that we no longer have a person on that committee from the DEI. Because wasn't it Trina?
oh,
So
okay.
you might see if somebody from the DEIC wants to serve on that advisory committee. They meet, I think they met twice and they have maybe one or two more meetings. So it's not a heavy involvement, but generally they do meet during the day. So it's not an evening, it's like 3 to 5.
Okay. Does anybody sound really interested in that? Do we know when they're next?
They haven't scheduled their next meeting.
Okay. Okay, and are all of you, Tammy, Travis, Tiffany, all T's today. Are you all, do you feel like you have an understanding of what the TSP work is?
Is that the transportation people that came to talk to us about the growth of Estacada?
Yes. Yeah, there've been a couple community meetings, I think, and there, it's a big project that has very specific groups meeting and then opportunities where they're bringing information to us and then bringing back out to the larger group before they come up with their official updated plan for the city.
I actually would be really interested in sitting on that advisory if nobody else wants to.
Great.
Yeah, they generally meet during the week, and it'll be a Monday through Thursday. So I think that it should be a good timing for you.
Okay, yeah, if somebody can just let me know.
I will let Taylor's team know, and they'll add you to their email list. So you'll start receiving emails about updates along the way. And then when they schedule the meeting, they'll let you know.
And that's
Okay, great.
Taylor
Taylor
Campy.
yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
it might be one of the other planning staff,
Okay.
so.
All
Great,
right,
thank you,
great.
Tammy.
Sure.
Okay, and then possibly at the summit, we may get some more ideas about working with committees and
Mhm.
projects that we could partner on to include in this section.
Yep. So,
Alright.
and if you have anything that comes out of the summit, please email that to me to be included in the next packet.
Okay.
Since we will not have a quorum.
Yeah, if you can do some sort of yeah, that would be really helpful because I won't be able to be there.
Yeah, we'll definitely do I'm planning to be there. I don't know who else is. But I'll definitely share whatever partnerships or just, do a recap for y'all so you know what happened.
I think Mike is planning to be there too.
Okay, double duty for both arts and DEI. Okay, so the homework on this section for everyone, though, is to really think through the goals that we've set for the year and think if there are other specifics, including target dates and maybe why, come back with your reasoning for why you think those target dates would be good. And then any other of the specifics to add underneath the categories. And we can discuss those next time.
Erin, I think under community groups and church groups, if we could kind of pencil in there the Garfield Church. And also might be not a bad idea for us to reach out to the Mennonite community church. Just thinking kind of outskirts. I don't know if there's any other, those are the churches out by me. I know there's one out in George too, that we might want to reach out to.
Yeah. And the one up on Hillockburn. Yeah, and I think we'll have some work to do around preparing for those conversations if we're going to create, a one pager or something that we can go with, and if we do it in pairs or however it works to just schedule some conversations with those folks to gather their input. Yeah, I know I would feel much more prepared going in to have those conversations if we all talked about it and came up with, what are our talking points? How do we guide these conversations? But then, then we can just make a list and do the easiest ones first and start reaching out to groups. I think that'll be great. Is that the discussing the outreach strategy? That's like overlapped,
Yeah, yep. It's like,
segued?
it's like segued. So this is, what do you want to do first? Do you want to do the one page like you're talking about? What are your talking points? Or do you want to discuss potential locations on where you want to reach out?
Well, and do we want to go micro to macro, like go to individual groups? Or do we want to start with, or I don't know, do a yes, both of having set aside times where we are available for people to come to us, setting up specific meetings for listening sessions? Or do we want to start with going to individual organizations and having the conversations?
I think opening it up to them, offering the opportunity to have these listening sessions, and then it could come across as, I don't know, weird, or like we're trying to push something if we are specifically going to a specific location or target or whatever. Kind of put the ball in their court a little more.
Just in like an invitation, like, here, we are your local diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, and we are open to having conversations with your organization, or blah, blah, blah.
I might do it, if you're gonna do that, do kind of more targeted. So have one that's for churches, maybe have one for groups that work with the youth engagement, because you're gonna have different questions you're gonna ask, but depending on the audience, right?
Possibly. I haven't even like wrapped my brain around what things we're going to bring up. I mean, or is it super general in relationship to diversity, equity, and inclusion? Is it asking all of them very similar things just about their group? Like, do you feel that, I don't even know. I don't know where to start.
What if we just, I don't know, I kind of feel like I know that when they have the What's Up Estacada, I have a hard time just dropping everything and going to those meetings. I feel like it might be better if we, like Travis said, put the ball in their court and said, hey, Garfield Church, we would like to get your opinion on some things. And we can give them specifics, like you said, once we get more of a plan in place. And we can say, do you guys have an evening where we could come for an hour and just meet with your members? Anyone who's interested, if we come to them, since they're already going there to church, or even the community center, the senior center, since people already go there for bingo and their activities, it seems sensible that we would go to them and not make them come to us. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Go where people are comfortable going already. Because basically we just want to open up a conversation to give them an opportunity to share any feedback via us that will get to the city, and, ideally around the umbrella of DEI. But probably just the gesture of even reaching out is going to go a long way in opening the communication lines.
Agreed. I mean, are there other committees going out and having these kinds of listening sessions and that are getting feedback from the public? Is that a thing that's happening already?
No, I would, the city has done it for specific projects. So like we've done it with the TSP. So we've gone out like to the industrial campus and asked them about some of their impacts on transportation and talked to people who use mobility devices and asked about impacts on transportation, but not any of the committees aren't doing this right now.
Right. Because that's our charge, is to address this. It's for the city, right? So we want to frame it in engagement with the city. Do they feel that they have access, our representation, a voice?
So I was just looking up, we had set out questions before we did that listening session.
Oh, the previous one.
The previous one, it was, May? I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We had two questions. One, what barriers to access or inclusion have you experienced or witnessed in Estacada? And then the second one, what questions or issues should the council consider to ensure access and inclusion for city services, programs, and infrastructure?
I think that's a pretty easy way to start. So can we send those out to everybody, those two questions?
They're on the website.
Okay,
I think they're still, if not, I can put them on the
on
website.
our page.
Yes, they should be on our page. Since I am logged in, it shows me things that everybody doesn't see. Hold on.
Great. So if they're there, then if everybody can, because it might take a minute to absorb those questions and see if those feel like it's good to start with those two questions when we engage in these conversations with groups, or if we're missing something.
They're not there, but it just takes a click and I will have them there.
Okay. Cool, because we had a feedback thing on our page. It just closed. Is that
Yeah.
why? Okay. All right, so that's homework item number 2 or 3, I can't remember, but to look over those questions and see if those feel like a good starting point for these conversations, listening sessions. And then what other information might we want to have prepared if we go out to these groups? Can we anticipate what any of the conversations would be so we're prepared with, ready and able to answer questions that they might have for us?
When I've had people call about this committee, generally I explain to them what we've already done. So like looking at the transportation system plan and looking at how the city could be better for accessibility. So looking at the ways that where we need ramps and where we need wider sidewalks and those kind of things. So that's helpful to talk about the things that we have already accomplished or that we've already looked at. So they get a good idea about what this committee can do.
And working on improving the accessibility of the application process.
Yep.
For participating in the committees.
I think that's a real crucial piece because we have buzzwords in the name of the committee and that pulls it down. It centers what the committee has done in a kind of a normalizing situation, I think.
Yeah, and it's good for us, I think, to have that running list. Because when you're doing the work, you don't really see what you've done. You kind of have to take that 20,000 foot view to look and see. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll compile a list of the very tangible things that we have worked on. You can also be prepared whether or not people want it on when the committee started and what the original, like what the charge of the committee is, to clarify that for people. I think it could be really positive and really improve relationships and gather, there could be a lot of really important feedback for the city. So how do we go about creating this one pager?
Well, some of it is already in your founding documents, so you already have the purpose, that's already there. You guys, we have a couple questions that we've used previously. If you want to look at those and maybe make edits or suggestions, see if those are good, if you want to change them. And then bring back with your list about what the committee has done. And then we can compile all that into one sheet.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna need help. I guess I could also look from the different meeting minutes from the presentations we've done at City Council, because I think that's been a good compilation of projects that have been completed during the quarter. That might be a good place to get that info, to create that list of things that we have done. Okay.
I don't think it's a bad idea to let us be kind of a sounding board of sorts. Because I think there's a lot of people that feel very disconnected from the city, especially if they are not going out and meeting with the community on a regular basis and expecting the community to come to them. I was at the PGE meeting that we had back in the fall at the community center, and there was a lot of anger over the fire and the map that they've made without asking people, and just so I think we'll probably find that people have a little frustration, but that's okay, because we can bring that feedback back to our commissioner that sits that sits on our committee, and he can take it back to his people.
Yeah.
I think one thing, if we term these listening sessions, I think people like to be heard. And if we tell, in these outlying, churches and stuff that we are wanting to listen to them, yeah, we have some things we want to say, but if we're wanting to listen to them, I think that the involvement is likely to be a little greater. And if we want to be listened to, we have to listen. It's kind of a key piece there. So I think you're right there with getting conversations going. We're probably going to have to start by listening and bringing that back to the table. And then in the future, I think that may lay the groundwork for future greater involvement from outside communities.
Totally.
Yeah, that's the I in our committee.
Yep. Okay, well, I will work on gathering some of that information, and I'll email it to you, Elena, hopefully before the next meeting, so that maybe at the next meeting we can have something, a draft that we can all look at.
Sounds good.
All right, do we have any public to make comments?
It is just Andrea, Denise, and Heidi.
Okay.
And if any of them wanted to make comment, they could raise their hands. Otherwise,
No.
there is no one.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll move into committee comments for now. Jerry, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so this quite possibly could be my last meeting with the DEI. I've been here since the beginning, but Heidi can only do liaison on certain days, and this one falls into her requirements, and I feel very comfortable handing the DEI committee over to Heidi. So depending on what happens in the next council meeting, this, like I said, this quite possibly could be my last meeting as the liaison for the DEI committee. It's been a pleasure working with all of you, and Aaron, it's been great watching you grow from the very first day of this until to now. Elena, you've been amazing as always, and Taylor was great in the, helping us get started. And just seeing this this current group, and then the new applicants, I have total confidence that this committee is going to do some really good things. So I'm going to still try to be involved as much as I can. And if you guys need my help for anything, I will always be available. But like I said, this is quite possibly going to be my last meeting with the DEI committee.
But still, you will be a city councilor
Yes.
that 100% supports the work, which is good to have more involvement. And Heidi, we would, be lucky to have you as our liaison. All right, I will just randomly call you to make comments. Okay, Travis, I'll start with you.
Yes, no, I've got nothing else.
All right, thank you for being here as always. Tiffany.
I am excited to see where the engagement goes, especially the outline and the church and community groups. I feel like that's an area where people gather in their daily life. And so I'm excited to see where this group can pull people in and get their ideas, and really foster that communication between groups of people. So I'm excited for that.
Tammy?
Well, this kind of took me by surprise that we are losing Jerry, so that's really sad. But it was great to have you on our committee, Jerry, and we will look forward to working with Heidi as well, but you'll be missed. And just want to thank Elena for all she does, and Aaron, you too. So just really am happy to be on the committee still, and hopefully make a difference.
I would say it's somewhat of a compliment to us that Jerry is possibly stepping aside, because I know that he feels that we are standing on our own feet. And so thank you, Jerry. Of course, we've appreciated your wisdom and guidance. Me from the beginning. Thank you. It's been a great partnership, I think. And I'm just glad to bring Heidi in and have an additional partner, somebody else on the city council that's really going to know intimately the work that we're doing and what we're trying to do. And I think that'll help spread our message a little further also. Thanks to you all for being here and participating. There's so many good ideas, and I'm really excited about our new coming committee members, because I think that's going to bring additional expertise and perspective that just continues to round out the group. Denise, did you had your hand raised?
You to finish. I didn't want to interrupt. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was going to ask, when will we know if we've been accepted on the committee or not?
After the next council meeting. So the council meets next Monday, and so you will know by Tuesday. I will email you Tuesday.
Thank you.
So the next DEI meeting that you will likely be invited to is the first Tuesday. What day is this? Monday? The first Monday of March.
April.
Oh, we don't have a March one?
No, we do have a March one, but their term
Oh.
starts April.
Oh, so you have a lot of time to prepare. We will send you all the documents.
Yes, you are welcome to attend the March one, but you will be attending as a community member. Your first one from being appointed will be in April.
So that's Monday, April 3rd. looks like then.
What's
So
the
get,
It's the first Monday in March.
first Monday in March? Okay.
yeah.
Elena, would you be able to clarify when our terms end?
They end March 31st.
Of what year, though? I mean, some of them aren't some of the terms
I
1
think
and
they're
2
all
years?
2 now. I mean, so
Yeah, they're
filling
all
in when there
2.
was vacancies, that's when it gets all messy. When they are officially appointed at the February meeting for the April start, those will all be 2-year
Yes.
terms.
Okay, okay.
So
Thank you for
start-
clarifying.
Yeah, it'll start the first month in April and then go through March 31st, 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just wrap up by saying that I do plan to attend the summit on the 15th for our, on behalf of our group. Anybody else who can make it, that would be great. So we can talk and, have some really great collaboration with the other committees to see the work that we could do together. And just to find out what everybody else is working on. And then I am also planning to attend the What's Up Estacada, which is at the library this time, which is really cool, totally different location. Please share that event with your networks for people, just to come and chat with different groups. There's a whole list of participants.
Yeah, we have the most number of participants we've ever had. It's like 12, 13. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I'm
All
sorry,
right.
when is that?
It is the 15th.
Oh, that one's the 15th. When's the summit? Oh, that's the 12th.
The summit's the 11th. So
Oh.
What's Up Estacada is on the 15th and it is at 5:30 to
7.
7 at the Estacada Library, the Flora Room.
Okay, and then the other one is this Saturday at like 9:30, correct?
Yep, this Saturday, the
where's-
summit is this
And where's
Saturday.
that at?
City Hall.
Is that something that we can be a part of or can show
Yeah.
up to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes, we would love to have you either this Saturday or next Wednesday or both.
Yes, so the committee summit this Saturday is new. It's an opportunity for, I think, the counselors are also invited? No, just the committees.
Just the committees.
various committees are all invited to come and sort of, meet each other and figure out what everybody's working on and
Yep, so it'll kick off with the little presentation I did on the committee 101s that goes over like public meeting laws and public records, that kind of thing. But then I want to give each committee a chance to talk about, their purpose and what they want to accomplish in the coming year. And then give you guys just a chance to freely mingle and chat.
yeah. So I'd love to have other people there.
Pairing to do.
No.
El-
All right. Yeah.
Elena, will we be having those meetings quarterly?
The committee summit,
Mm-hmm.
this is the first one we've planned. So I mean, we can discuss having them quarterly. I don't know. I think we were looking at next time potentially doing, instead of a committee summit, doing kind of a nonprofit and agency summit, which you all would be invited and welcome to attend too. But, kind of a way to engage more of the larger service groups in the city. So we might look at doing, instead of the committee summit quarterly, a other event that does more engagement.
Okay, I'd like an opportunity to meet those committee members, but I can't do it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So. Okay,
Yeah, some of them will be at What's Up. I know, and I think the Arts Commission is going to have a table there and so. See you then.
All right. Any last comments? All right, so it's 5:05 and we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.